Will the meeting please come to order? Will all members of the council as well as the public please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation this evening will be offered by Terrence Gibson, elder at Crosspoint Church, the guest of Council Member Sam Coleman.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we first want to thank you for this day and for the opportunity to pray and glorify your mighty name in this setting. For your word instructs us to pray for all people and to ask you to help them, to intercede on their behalf and give thanks for them. Furthermore, gracious Father, we thank you for establishing government and the authorities and powers that you have set into place. For your word says there is no authority except that which you have instituted. Almighty God, I pray for the city of Nashville, the state of Tennessee, and this nation, that we the citizens will honor and submit to the government that you have established. For you state in your word to let everyone be subject to the governing authorities. Dear Father, with the understanding that you have put government in place and that the citizens of the land are to obey the laws established by government, we ask that you bless every leader present with every tool needed to govern in a manner that pleases you. Bless each official with knowledge, understanding, wisdom, patience, and compassion, and fill their hearts with love, joy, and peace. For your word says to pray for kings and all who are in authority, so that we can live peaceful and quiet lives marked by godliness and dignity. Lord God, we are grateful for your presence in our lives and for the instruction of your word. We pray that you will bless this meeting and orchestrate every outcome. In the matchless name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Without objection, we'll suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of those members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for adoption of the minutes of the meeting May 9, 2017? Without objection, those minutes will stand approved as written. Madam Clerk, is there any communication from the mayor?
There are no messages from the mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. You're going to go second, Councilman Bednang. Before we get started on our business tonight, I would like to inform the members of the council that our colleague, Council Member Holly Huezo, delivered an 8-pound, 1-ounce boy today. Liam Nicholas Huezo. It's my understanding that both mother and son are doing well. Obviously, she won't be here with us tonight, but we look forward to her return when she's able. We are privileged tonight as well to be to have a visit from the Lord Mayor of our sister city, Belfast, Northern Ireland. Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of the council. We are privileged to have the Lord Mayor of Belfast, our sister city, and along with 2 city council members from Belfast. And what I would like to do is move to suspend the rules to actually invite the Lord Mayor to address this body.
Is there an objection to suspension of the rules? Seeing none, it is our honor to have the Lord Mayor Brian Kingston from the city of Belfast, Northern Ireland, as well as Alderman Guy Spence and Councillor Eileen Graham here with us tonight. We welcome them. I believe Lisa Toland and Francis Murray are also here from the city of Belfast. I've been provided with copies of their bios, brief copies, and it's kind of embarrassing to read them. They've accomplished so much more than any of us have. In lieu of embarrassing ourselves here, although our city was founded by people of Scots-Irish heritage. I would just ask the Lord Mayor if he would like to share a few words with us and invite him to the podium. Yes, sir. And if you'll pull the microphone up to your, there you go. Thank you. Thank you, Lord Mayor.
Okay. Well, Vice Mayor Briley, members of the Metropolitan Council, thank you for that warm welcome. And it is a great honour for me and for all of us to be here this evening and for me to have the honour of addressing your council. We're at the start of a 4-day visit to our sister city of Nashville, our longest standing sister city relationship. And very much in recent years, we've been moving the relationship forward. And our delegation is here this week to look at the connections through education, through business, through government, how we can work together for our mutual benefit. And as you have said, the connection goes back right to the foundations of this city and the many people who came from Ulster as Scotch-Irish and settled in this part of the New World. And we are very familiar with that story, and I have some booklets which I'll, at some stage, will have the opportunity to pass on, recalling some of that history. I've actually just arrived only 2.5 hours ago, but some of our delegation have been here since yesterday and held some very useful and productive meetings today. And we do just want to thank and acknowledge all those who are particularly supporting us this week. Councilmen Jim Shulman and Jeff Syracuse and Tracy Drykane and Chris Marsicano and all others from your sister city committee members who are assisting us, and we're very grateful for their work. We're particularly pleased to be visiting during World Trade Week, and again, as we look to develop our business connections and the opportunities that we have. Belfast has undergone great change in recent decades, as I see your city is as well, and we both have the construction cranes in our skyline, and as we make great progress. And our city has been listed twice and voted as Europe's most business-friendly city of its size, and we have record levels of cybersecurity investment from the United States and high levels of financial technology firms. We currently have over 50 US companies based in Belfast, and there are many others who will be announcing that they will be setting up in the following weeks and months. So I don't want to delay you any further, but we appreciate the warm welcome that we have received, and we will be seeking to deepen our relationship and set up new initiatives. We look forward in particular to meeting with Mayor Barry, with members of your council, civic society, the business community and public agencies. And we know that some of you will be visiting us, I think, this autumn as we continue to develop the relationship. So thank you for the honour of addressing your council and for hosting our visit. We appreciate this is a busy evening for Nashville, and so we do want to join with you in saying, "Go Predators," if I can say that. Just in closing, if I can cross the floor, I would like to present you, just as a token of this occasion, a copy of the City of Belfast coat of arms, which I'd like to present, Vice Mayor, to you.
Councilman Cooper, I hope you took note that we'll need to amend our budget to purchase something symbolic for the mayor to wear. Did you notice that? Please do. I think we have enough money in 4% for that. We do have another presentation tonight. Councilman Bednang.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I want to invite the people from the kitchen cabinet and members of the council who want to join us here in reading this resolution, and Councilor Lady Allen, who speaks English much better than I do. Thank you all.
This is a resolution recognizing Tuesday, May 16th as Restaurant Recognition Day in the city of Nashville. Whereas restaurants have played and continue to play a central role in shaping the economy, cultural, and social identity of our city, and whereas the hospitality sector comprises a significant portion of the labor force, providing quality jobs for people of all ages and spawning small business owners and entrepreneurs who provide leadership, guidance, and support of the values which strengthen our economy. And whereas restaurant owners are often unique leaders and exceptional role models and have distinguished themselves as smart and wise business owners, creating jobs, paying wages, and demonstrating that they are a positive force in our community and neighborhoods. And whereas, despite the many risks and personal sacrifices that they encounter, they continue to be inspirations to their families, employees, and the community, and whose success stories we can learn to emulate. And whereas the restaurant industry provides unique opportunities for women, immigrants, minorities, veterans, students, and other hardworking people to start small and grow into the thriving businesses that employ hundreds of people and contribute significantly to our local culinary culture and the fabric of our city's identity. And
when these people succeed, our nation, our state, our region, our city succeeds, and their potential should only be limited by the breadth of their dreams. And so now, therefore, be resolved by the Council of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County that we are recognizing Tuesday, May 16 as Restaurant Recognition Day in the city of Nashville. Thank you very much for joining us here. I'd like to invite Randy Rayburn here to give him this recognition. All these people are really cool. You should get to eat in the restaurants.
Thank you, Fabian. Thank you, Berkeley. Greg Atkins couldn't be here with us tonight, and part of this is about the kitchen cabinet, which is an effort on the part of the restaurant industry, which is a big part of our hospitality industry, which is growing our local tax, local option sales tax base and liquor by the drink tax options, so that our sales tax base is finally growing again the last few years. We really want people to know all of our various roles in the community, where our opportunities from what I call minimum wage to careers, long-term. There are people here who have started at the bottom as dishwashers and own their own restaurants now. It's a wide, diverse group, and I'd like to call upon you to give them all a round of applause rather than me introducing them. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. There you go. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Madam Clerk. I'm going to take these three appointments and then come back here, just to get those people out.
Dancing across, right. Yeah. Good to see you. Are you coming to drink with us afterwards? You feel like we're going now. Thank you.
Okay. Without objection, I'm going to take the three appointments before we do the election for a general sessions judge, just to, in case any of these three individuals are going to the Predators game, we'll get them out of here. Councilman Schulman, is there a report from the Rules Committee?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Members of the council, there is a report from the Rules Committee. We actually, because we were visited by the Belfast delegation, we invited Councilor Eileen Graham to actually run the committee. I lost all my paperwork in the middle of all this, and so I would actually think that she would do a much better job of presenting, but I'll go ahead and try to do my best. I can tell that the members of the Rules Committee actually thought she did a much better job of running the meeting than I ever do. So what I will do is, let me go through these. Electrical Examiners and Appeals Board. We reviewed the reappointment of Mr. Robert Cohen for a term expiring April 15th, 2021. After review, we approved that nomination 7-4-0 against, and I would move for approval.
You've heard the motion for confirmation of Mr. Robert Cohen to the Electrical Examiners and Appeals Board. It's been properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Emergency Communications District Board, reappointment of Mr. David Gleason for a term expiring February 14, 2021. I will tell you that Mr. Gleason's appointment has been, we've been deferring that because of some health reasons. Mr. Gleason seems to be in good shape, had a lot of good information about the Emergency Communications District Board. We reviewed his reappointment, approved it 7-4-0 against, and I would move for approval.
You've heard the motion for confirmation of Mr. David Gleason to the Emergency Communications District Board. It's been properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This is the last one. Plumbing Examiners and Appeals Board, appointment of Mr. Tommy Krantz for a term expiring March 10th, 2018. Mr. Krantz is filling the unexpired term of Mr. Krantz, which means that he is filling the unexpired term of his father. We reviewed both those situations, thought everything was good, approved that one 7-4-0 against, and I would move for approval.
You've heard the motion for confirmation of Mr. Tommy Krantz to the Plumbing Examiners and Appeals Board. It's been properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We would like to recognize these citizens who have been confirmed tonight. So if you will please stand as I call your name and remain standing until all have been introduced. To the Electrical Examiners and Appeals Board, Mr. Robert Cohen. To the Emergency Communications District Board, Mr. David Gleason. And to the Plumbing Examiners and Appeals Board, Mr. Tommy Krantz. On behalf of the entire Metro Council and the citizens of Davidson County, we'd like to thank you for your willingness to volunteer your time and expertise on behalf of your city. Thank you very much. We can give everybody just a second to see if you can find a seat, if you can. Ladies and gentlemen, now it is our obligation to select a replacement to the General Sessions Court Division 10, I believe it is. The process for this will be that I will call the list in alphabetical order, and each nominee will have 5 minutes to speak total. They can divide that amongst the nominating person and the candidate, or it can be just for the candidate. That's entirely up to the individual. There's no obligation to speak for 5 minutes, but you do have that opportunity. We will start then with Mr. Michael Clemens. Is Mr. Michael Clemens. I'm sorry? Is Mr. Clemens not here? There's a good joke here, but I'm just not going to take it. Mr. Michael Clemens. Mr. Clemens, unfortunately, you've missed your opportunity to speak tonight. Mr. Sam Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. It's my honor to nominate Sam Coleman. Equal justice under law. Everyday, experienced, judicial, approachable. He knows the court, he knows the law, he knows the whole community. 32 years working for the Department of Children's Services, veteran attorney at law, 20 years as an instructor in various capacities, 10 years of service on the Metro Council, and he'll be one great judge for many years. I yield to Council Lady Vercher.
Councilman Coleman, I'm going to ask you to use the podium. I'm going to pause your time while you make your way over there, but I feel like it'd be best to have everybody speak from the same place as candidates. I hope you understand. Councilor Vercher, are you seeking recognition? Councilor Vercher.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. It is my honor to stand in support of our colleague, Councilman Sam Coleman. He has longevity. He has a history of serving public service for over 3 decades. He has the ability to look past what others portray as obvious. This comes from his depth and breadth of experience, again, from his longevity on the job and his service to the community for many years, not being afraid to make the right call, even when it may not be politically popular. It's the right time for vote for Sam Coleman. I ask that you stand in support with me and vote for our colleague, Councilman Coleman. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Members of the council, I rise tonight to tell you how grateful I am to have this opportunity to stand before you. I offer you my candidacy for the vacancy of the judicial seat in General Sessions Court Division 10. In support of my candidacy, I've submitted my resume, my application. I submitted to 2 interviews, and I've answered all of the questions that you had for me. I feel that I have the necessary skill sets, education, work history, public service, and practice of law, the number of years I practiced law. If you should happen to select me, I make you 3 promises. 1, I will work to restore the integrity of the judiciary in the 10th Division. Number 2, I will be fair. And number 3, I will reverse the curse of the council. I will win the election in August of 2018. I need you to vote for me on the first ballot, on the second ballot, and on the third ballot. I thank you so much for your service, and I do enjoy serving in the Metro Council. Thank you.
I believe Mr. Dredd, former Councilman Adam Dredd, withdrew his name today. So that brings us to Anna Escobar. Councilman Swope.
Thank you, Your Honor. It is my pleasure and privilege to nominate an unbelievable woman who has worked for both the PD and the AD and the council, and I think every other department in the city for the past several decades. And who happens to live in the #1 district in the city, District 4, Miss Anna Escobar. And to tell you a little bit more, please welcome my fellow councilman, Bob Mendez.
Thank you, Councilman Swope. For me, there's 2 basic things to look at when looking at judge. One is the resume, what's the background, and then who the person is as a person. When it comes to either one of those, I think Anna Escobar is the most qualified candidate. First, looking at the resume, she's practiced law longer than any of the other candidates, and she's handled, according to their applications, as many general or sessions cases or more than any of the other candidates. In some instances, she's handled as many as tries 75 to 100 times more general sessions cases than the other candidates, most recently yesterday. She also tries important cases. Just in the last month, she had a murder trial that she prosecuted. Beyond the courtroom, there's a diversity of legal experience that's unparalleled. The Bar Association recommended her most highly, and it's not a coincidence. Both the defense bar and prosecutors, as well as the civil bar and victims advocacy groups, all endorse her more than any other candidate. Beyond the legal experience and the legal background, there's her community involvement is also strongest among any of the candidates. She's served on a volunteer basis with our election commission, our planning commission. She's had a role with the Tennessee Judicial Nominating Commission, so she's done what we're doing before in picking judges at the state level. She's a board member with YWCA and Conexión Americas. The entire community has benefited from her public service, and the domestic violence awareness and advocacy in particular is important. All these legal things and the background and experience are important, but to me, who the person is as a person is most important. I've had the privilege of knowing Ms. Escobar since the mid-1990s when we were both young lawyers before any of the other candidates had law licenses. As long as I've known Anna, going back to 1998, when I was having a problem with a former law partner, I relied personally on Anna's advice for help at that time, and I feel that she succeeds in that role and has succeeded for the last 20 years because she's patient, approachable, empathetic, and fundamentally understands people's problems and understands people. She cares about helping people, and that's what will make her a good judge. I really believe that she would be the best of the candidates. I know we've got multiple good candidates, and that's a blessing for us, but I think Ms. Escobar would do a great job. I think she's most qualified. Finally, I'd like to defer to Councilman Bedney for a few words.
Thank you. So I'm also an immigrant. You guys heard that before. I'm Latino, and as such, I have in the past been told, wait for the next time, wait for your turn. It's going to come. We minorities hear that a lot, and then it's usually somebody else. We have an opportunity here, each one of us, to correct a wrong. There's no other Latino judge in the state of Tennessee. We have a great candidate here, as you heard from all the different people that have evaluated her. But you have a chance. It's your vote that is going to decide if we are going to correct the wrong or having finally a person that can speak for the immigrant and Latinos in the city and in Middle Tennessee. We are over 10% of the population in Nashville, and there is nobody that can really express that. And so I'm asking you to do like the people in District 31 did when people were telling me nobody's going to vote for a Latino, and they voted for me. So I'm asking you to do the same and join me in voting for Ana Escobar. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. That brings us to Ms. Martisa Johnson. Council Lady Van Rees.
Thank you very much. I want to, on behalf of my sincere pleasure to have Public Defender Dawn Diener as a resident of District 8. She was able to speak to me about the incredible opportunity that Martisa Johnson brings to this council, and with that, no one can speak better on her behalf than herself, and I ask for that at this time.
Thank you, Councilwoman Van Rees, and thank you to everyone who is here, and I really appreciate this opportunity. Etched on the walls outside of the courthouse, the Birch Building that I walk into every day, is the phrase, "The first duty of society is justice." It is this phrase that I see on a daily basis, and this duty that I reflect upon all the time. This duty, this obligation, this responsibility for justice is the reason that we are here, the reason that I'm here, and the reason that I'm proud to stand in this moment. I am incredibly humbled by this opportunity. I am a person who I have shared with all of you who is not a politician, but I am someone who is passionate about the justice system. This cause has been my only cause for my career. This cause is the reason I rise every day, the reason I go to the courthouse on a daily basis to advocate for all people. And I present to you a person who would be fair and impartial and compassionate and have the passion that is required to be a good judge. So I'm not here for Martisa Johnson necessarily. I am here for the people who believe that they don't have a voice in the justice system, for the people who believe that they are not educated about what's going on over there in the courthouse, for the people who are begging this city, this community, this time to be focused on criminal justice and the justice system as a whole. That's why I am here. That's why I felt it my responsibility to seek this appointment. I have been very happy to talk to you all, and those of you who have expressed your deep commitment to the justice system and to the citizens in your district who are disgruntled with the things they've seen in the system. I appreciate your candor and your remarks about that. I am sincerely dedicated to this cause. I am asking for that appointment for this reason. The time is always ripe to do what is right. And while I think I am a great person, I think that in my 9-year career, I have been able to accomplish some great things. This moment is not about me. This moment is about everybody else in the city of Nashville. And I'm proud to stand here with you, and I'm even more proud to have so many people here who are standing along with me to ask you to do what is right for the city of Nashville. I appreciate your time, and I am asking for your vote. Thank you very much.
Mr. Nick McGregor.
Good evening. And Vice Mayor Briley, I have the person who nominated me. He's in the audience. He's going to say a few words, if that's all right.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Good evening. My name is Ed Hastings, and I'm a Nashville criminal defense lawyer. And 100% of my practice is in Nashville at the Birch Building. And I've handled hundreds and hundreds of general sessions cases, which has given me the opportunity over the last 5 years to firsthand Nick McGregor handle hundreds and hundreds of general sessions cases. And I've found Nick to be a person that treats others with respect, courtesy. He's professional. He's punctual. And I really think that he is a person that could take the bench tomorrow and run a very smooth courtroom. So those are just a few of the reasons why I've nominated Nick McGregor. And again, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you. I thank you all for being here, and those of you that met with me and those of you who've heard me speak at the Rules Committee meeting, I was asked what my mission statement would be, and I responded that it would be help first, and I stick by that. And help first isn't just a mission statement for General Sessions Judge. It's a mission statement for being a human being. And there's people in our community that get overlooked. There's people in our community that don't have a voice, and I've been that voice for them for the duration of my law career, practicing mainly criminal defense. General Sessions is a very important time for not only defendants, but for witnesses, police officers, and victims of crimes. It's their chance to be heard, and it's their chance to feel like they're getting a fair shake at the system. And as judge, I will give everybody a fair shake at the system because nobody wants to feel as if they've been cheated. I appreciate what Mr. Hastings said about me being very professional and courteous. I think that everybody should be treated courteously, and that's not just the attorneys. That's everybody right down to who's ever working in the courtroom that day. I thank each of you for your time, and I ask each of you to vote for me.
Thank you. And our final candidate, Mr. Tillman Payne III.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I've been bringing up the rear of this group since the nomination process, so I'll be quick. I'll make sure my 5 minutes are 5 or less. First of all, my name is Tillman W. Payne III. My wife, Kimberly, and I and our youngest son moved to Nashville back in 2003. I live in District 34. I've been practicing law here for the 14 years that I've been living in Nashville. Before I moved back to Nashville, I spent 20 years serving our country in the U.S. Air Force. I retired as a lieutenant colonel. I grew up in Carthage, Tennessee, a small town east of here, just about 50 miles right off I-40. I am running for General Sessions Judge because I believe I have something to offer and something that I can do to serve the community. I believe I have the temperament, the judgment, the discipline to serve honorably and effectively in the capacity as a General Sessions Judge. I feel it's my duty to offer my skills and talents to the court system, to this county, this state, and this nation. I believe diversity on the bench is important, not only as to race and gender and ethnicity, but also to professional background, experience, and abilities. I would be the first African-American male in the Davidson County General Sessions bench since A.A. Birch in 1969. I have, in addition to my legal career, a successful business. My wife owned 3 Annie Ann's pretzel shops in the local area, and we're actually looking to expand our business with some sandwich shops. I had a successful military career. I have demonstrated the ability to apply the law through my successful 14-year practice, which includes general sessions, circuit, appellate level, and civil and criminal cases. I have the ability to be firm while remaining calm and continue to communicate effectively when the tensions are high and emotions are frayed in the courtroom or in negotiations. I am always patient and respectful to clients, opposing attorneys, jurors, and the bench, and my record will stand for that. I understand how a judicial decision will affect the people who come before the court. I have the ability, and I will listen to all sides in a calm and courteous manner and consider all sides when there is a disputed issue. I recognize that being a Davidson County General Sessions Judge is not only stressful, but a position of public trust, and with its business conducted in full public view, and that criticism and scrutiny are inherent in the position. I am up to the challenges, and I possess the necessary temperament, stamina, intelligence, ethics, courage, integrity, experience, education, and character to serve with honor and distinction as the next General Sessions Judge in Davidson County. I will work with the DA, citizens, police, plaintiffs, defense attorneys to keep the cases that should remain in General Sessions Court there, keeping the trial court's dockets clear for serious cases. I'm an active in my church and community. I'm a member of the Bethel World Outreach Church on the corner of Granny White and Old Hickory. I have served in the children's ministry as a greeter and now as an usher. I am chairman of the Nashville Alumni Chapter Kappa Alpha Psi Guide Right Committee and advisor to the Kappa Leadership Development League, mentoring young men in grades 7 through 12 for both the public and private schools. I serve on the board of the directors for the West Nashville Sports League. I'm asking for your vote tonight and your support tonight and in the primary next May and in the general election next year. I fully intend to seek the position in the special election of 2018 and for the next full term, regardless of what happens here tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That ends our nominations. I believe we have passed out a ballot for each council member to complete. While the ballots are being collected, I know Judge Bill Higgins was here. He's still there. He informed me earlier today that he wanted to be here to welcome the newest member of the bench to the bench. I think he claims to be the longest serving member of the Davidson County bench so far. So thank you for coming tonight, Mr. Higgins. Thanks for coming, Judge Higgins. Yeah. You want to announce what the process for that is while we're waiting? Or? Members of the public and council, pursuant to our Rule 42, in order for us to select a judge, an individual needs to get the majority of those votes cast. So if it turns out that no one gets a majority of the votes cast in the first round, we will take the top 2 vote getters under most circumstances, and unless there's a tie for second. And we will have a runoff with those 2 individuals. In the event that there's a tie for second, we would add all those tying for second to the runoff. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Cooper voted for Mr. Sam Coleman. Ms. Gilmore voted for Mr. Coleman. Mr. Mendez voted for Ms. Escobar. Ms. Hurt voted for Mr. Coleman. Mr. Schulman voted for Ms. Escobar. Mr. Leonardo voted for Mr. Coleman. Mr. Hastings voted for Mr. Coleman. Ms. Haywood voted for Mr. Coleman. Mr. Swope voted for Ms. Escobar. Mr. Scott Davis voted for Mr. Coleman. Mr. Withers voted for Mr. Coleman. Mr. Anthony Davis voted for Ms. Escobar. Ms. Van Rees voted for Ms. Johnson. Mr. Pridemore voted for Ms. Escobar. Mr. Pardue voted for Ms. Escobar. Mr. Hager abstained. Mr. Glover voted for Ms. Johnson. There is no vote for Ms. Hueso. Mr. Roten abstained. Mr. Syracuse voted for Mr. Coleman. Mr. Freeman voted for Ms. Escobar. Mr. Sledge voted for Ms. Escobar. Ms. Allen voted for Ms. Escobar. Mr. O'Connell voted for Ms. Johnson. Ms. Roberts voted for Mr. Coleman. Mr. Kendall voted for Mr. Coleman. No vote for Ms. Weiner. Ms. Mina Johnson voted for Ms. Escobar. Ms. Murphy voted for Mr. Coleman. Mr. Pulley voted for Ms. Escobar. Mr. Elrod voted for Ms. Escobar. Ms. Blaylock voted for Mr. Coleman. Ms. Vercher voted for Mr. Coleman. Ms. Karen Johnson voted for Mr. Coleman. Mr. Potts voted for Mr. Coleman. Mr. Bedney voted for Ms. Escobar. Ms. Dow voted for Mr. Coleman. Mr. Coleman voted for Mr. Coleman. Ms. Henderson voted for Anna Escobar. Mr. Rosenberg voted Mr. Coleman. Record. Given the votes cast, the counts come out to Mr. Coleman with 19 votes, Ms. Escobar with 14 votes, Ms. Johnson with 3 votes, 2 abstentions. Mr. Coleman has the majority.
Mr. Coleman, let me be the first to call you Judge Coleman. Congratulations. He has to get sworn in. Councilman Coleman, we're going to need you to work tonight. You're not sworn in yet. Have a seat, everybody. We do have an agenda. For those who did not prevail tonight, we do appreciate your putting your name in nomination and want to congratulate you for doing that on its own. That brings us to resolutions on public hearing. Council Lady Murphy, you have a matter on public hearing. If you're going to do anything other than withdraw that, I need to recuse myself.
It is withdrawn. It is to be with. I would like to withdraw that.
Okay. RS 2017-686, Council Lady Murphy exempts the Answer restaurant located at 132 46th Avenue North from the minimum distance requirements for obtaining a beer permit. Council Lady Murphy.
Due to
Committee report. Councilman Pardue.
Withdrew 4-2.
Thank you, Councilman. Council Lady Murphy.
Due to the beer board moving ahead without needing this, I would move to withdraw.
It's a motion to withdraw. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to the consent agenda. The following items are currently on the consent agenda. RS 2017-615, 667, 687, 688, 689, 691 through 706, and 708 through 712. Councilman Elrod.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I need to be recorded as abstaining on Resolution 689, please.
Madam Clerk. Okay. 615 is also not on consent. Madam Clerk, Councilman Elrod has indicated he needs to be recorded as abstaining on RS 2017-689. Could you note that, please? Thank you. Councilman Schulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I would like to, I'd like to actually bump RS 2017-700 and 701 from the consent agenda.
Madam Clerk, I'm going to leave 689 on the consent agenda since all we have is an abstention on the actual vote. Okay. All right, if you'll bear with me for a minute. RS 2017-667, Councilman Hastings, authorizes the Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency to enter into a pilot agreement and accept payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes with respect to a multifamily housing project located at 2715 Whites Creek Pike. RS 2017-670, I'm sorry. I got to jump down here to 687. Council Lady Vercher authorizes the issuance and sale of general obligation bond anticipation notes in an amount not to exceed $375 million at any one time in the form of commercial paper, and authorizes one or more dealer agreements, issuing and paying agency agreements, and liquidity facility agreements. RS 2017-688, Council Lady Vercher amends Resolution RS 2014-1066 to increase the size and duration of the General Obligation Extendable Commercial Paper Program. RS 2017-689, Council Lady Vercher authorizes the issuance of 2017 Series A revenue bonds and Series B electric system revenue refunding bonds in an amount not to exceed $235 million. RS 2017-691, Council Lady Vercher and Council Lady Hurt approves a grant from the State Justice Institute to the Davidson County Juvenile Court to obtain expert assistance to diagnose a problem, develop a response to that problem, and initiate implementation of any needed changes. RS 2017-692, Council Lady Vercher, Council Lady Hurt approves an amendment to a grant from the State Department of Human Services to the Davidson County Juvenile Court to establish and enforce federal and state mandated child support program guidelines for children born out of wedlock. RS 2017-693, Council Lady Vercher approves a grant from the State Department of Correction to the state trial courts for the expenses of housing and treating nonviolent felony offenders with co-occurring addiction and mental health disorders. RS 2017-694, Vercher and Hurt approves an amendment to a contract to extend the contract term between Election Systems and Software LLC and Metro. RS 2017-695, Council Lady Vercher approves a grant from Baby and Company to the Metro Sports Authority to purchase and design 2 Mamava suites as a part of a public investment plan proposal at Bridgestone Arena. Should have been there for that committee meeting. RS 2017-696, Council Lady Vercher approves a grant from the Nashville Sounds Baseball Club to the Metro Sports Authority to purchase and design 2 Mamava suites as part of the public investment plan at First Tennessee Park. RS 2017-697, Council Lady Vercher approves a grant from Southern Blood Services to the Metro Sports Authority to assist with new purchases benefiting the Mamava project. I should have found out how to pronounce that word before we started, because it seems like I'm going to be saying it for a while. RS 2017-698, Council Lady Vercher approves a grant from the Tennessee Titans to the Metro Sports Authority for the purchase and design of 2 Mamava suites. RS 2017-699, Vircher, Henderson, and Hurt approves a Healthy Out-of-School grant from the National Recreation and Park Association in partnership with the Walmart Foundation to the Metro Parks and Recreation Department to increase the number of healthy meals children in low-income communities receive, provide nutrition literacy, and implement nutrition standards to access healthier foods. RS 2017-700, Vircher and Gilmore approves a contract between Hager Environmental and Atmospheric Technologies and the Metro Board of Health for automobile emission testing. RS 2017-701 approves a contract between Opus Inspection Incorporated and Metro for services relating to automobile emission testing. RS 2017-702, Vircher, Gilmore, and Hurt approves a grant from the State Department of Health and Metro Board of Health to ensure federal preparedness funds are directed to the Tennessee Regional and Metro Emergency Preparedness Programs to prepare for and recover from public health threats. RS 2017-703, Vircher, Gilmore, and Hurt approves a grant from the State Department of Health to the Metro Board of Health to provide the Tennessee Breast and Cervical Screening Program to clients and to facilitate timely access to quality screening and diagnostics. RS 2017-704, Council Lady Gilmore approves a business associate agreement between the Metro Board of Health and Park Center to provide safeguards to prevent the use or disclosure of protected health information. RS 2017-705, Council Lady Gilmore approves a HIPAA business associate agreement between the Metro Board of Health and St. Thomas Hospital to provide safeguards to prevent the use or disclosure of protected health information. RS 2017-706, Council Lady Gilmore and Hurt approves an agreement between the Metro Board of Health and the University of Tennessee College of Veterinary Medicine to provide clinical experience opportunities for its students. RS 2017-708, Elrod, Vircher, and Hurt approves an amendment to an agreement between the Tennessee Department of Transportation and Metro Public Works for intersection improvements on Jefferson Street. RS 2017-709, Elrod and Allen authorizes Mello PGA Incorporated to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 423 Broadway. RS 2017-710, Elrod and Allen authorizes Whiskey Row Nashville to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 400 Broadway. RS 2017-711, Vircher authorizes the Department of Law to compromise and settle the personal injury claim of Ramses Vasquez Marin against Metro in the amount of $15,000. RS 2017-712, Councilman Bedney expresses Metro Council's encouragement and support for the Native American Indian Association Circle of Life Indian Center. That is the consent agenda. Council Lady Vircher, Budget and Finance.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Budget and Finance Committee for Resolution RS 2017-667, 687, 688, 689.
Did I read it?
Approve, 11-4, 0 against. Resolution RS 2017-691, Budget and Finance, 11-4, 0 against. 692, 693, 694, 695, 696, 697, 698, 699, RS 2017-700, 702, 703, 707, I'm sorry, that was withdrawn, 708, 711, all were approved, 11-4, 0 against.
Thank you, Council Lady. Council Lady Gilmore, Health Hospitals.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Health Hospitals and Social Services Committee for Resolution 2017-685. Recommended recommended a deferral with none voting against it so that it will track with the budget. Resolution 2017-700, 7-4, 0 against was recommended for approval. 701, 7 voted and it was recommended for approval with 0 against. Resolution 702, our people went down a little bit. We had 4 that recommended it for approval. And then 703, it was 4 recommended for approval, 0 against. 704, 4 recommended for approval with 0 against. 705, 4 recommended for approval with 0 against. And 706, 4 recommended with 0 voting against for approval. Also, I wanted to make a quick note, if I could. I think Councilmember Schuman addressed it as well.
Yeah, I think I read one that was not supposed to be on there, and I'll come back to it I'll call through it.
Okay, so you're trying to tell me to sit down?
If you're asking. Councilor Henderson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Parks, Library, and Recreation Committee discussed Resolution 699 and recommended approval, 6 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Councilor Allen, Planning and Zoning.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, and Historical recommended approval for RS 2017-709 and 710, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilman Elrod.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Public Works took no action on Resolution 707, and for Resolution 708, 709, 710, 10 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. The Rules Committee looked at resolution number RS 2017-712, approved that one 7-4-0 against. I believe all committee reports are in. I would move for approval on all resolutions on the consent agenda.
There's a motion to approve the consent agenda as properly seconded. Councilor Virtue, are you seeking recognition? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You approve the consent agenda. We do still have several resolutions to deal with. RS 2017-615, Councilman Glover. Requests all officers, departments, directors, and other heads of all boards, commissions, authorities, and other agencies of Metro submitting requests for funds for capital improvements to the Director of Finance to submit copies of such requests to the Metro Council at the same time of such submissions to the Director of Finance. Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilor Virtue.
Budget and Finance approved 7-4, 1 against.
And with that, I would move approval on this. I think all of us that are looking at the budget right now, we get the capital improvement budget on May the 15th, and we have until June the 15th to pass it. All we're asking for here is simply when the submissions are made by the department heads or commissions or boards, that it also come to our finance department. That way we've got it in advance where we can simply look at it and start to understand what's being asked for, where we're not locked into just a 30-day period of what is actually out there. Now, we don't have to pass the capital spending plan in that same time, but when we're looking at the capital improvement budget, as you know, it's millions upon millions of dollars that we're talking about spending. So I think this is just a way to kind of streamline it and bring it into us to where we've got the information sooner rather than later. And so with that, I renew my request for approval. Thank you.
Councilman Pulley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have a brief question. We've had a lot of information come to us on budget in preparation for this. And don't we already get this information from you, and that's directed at Ms. O'Neill, I guess, is the appropriate person to ask that question?
Yes, Councilman. We provided all of that information to the Metro Council at the same time that it was provided to the mayor, and it was also posted on our website at the same time so that anybody could have access to it.
Does this resolution change any of that?
No. I mean, we're going to continue to do that. That has been our practice, to make that information available as soon as we have it.
Okay, so I'm just wondering why we need a resolution if we're already getting this information.
The reason I'm asking is because this literally lays it out. They're not required to do this. They're doing it, and we're appreciative of that. This simply puts it into where they're required to give it to us. The next administration may decide they don't want to provide it to you, and they don't have to, I don't think, under the charter. Mr. Jameson, am I correct in that? Okay, so all this is doing is just really kind of a housekeeping to say we would like it to continue. We appreciate the fact that they're giving it to us. This just puts it in form to where it's given to the council, whether the next administration wants to or not. That way we've got it as we are used to getting it now.
I don't have anything further. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I guess this may be a question directed to planning. I've got the final CIB right here, this 6-inch thick notebook. For clarification, what we would get from the departments would be sort of the undistilled version, and then you guys would slice it and dice it and put it in order. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe this would be before all the data is reviewed and made sure it's correct.
Okay, thank you.
No one else seeking recognition. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. RS 2017-616 adopts, Councilman Glover, adopts a policy requiring a limitation on the amount of debt service funds appropriated for the amortization of general service bonds and urban services bonds in the annual operating budget of Metro government. Councilman Glover.
I think, Mr. Jameson, this is deferred by rule, but the committee, correct? Thank you.
Deferred by rule. RS 2017-678. Councilman Bedney, Vercher, and Blaylock request the Metro Transit Authority to provide at least 10% of its advertising space to other Metro departments, boards, and commissions to provide public service advertisements regarding local government services. Councilman Bedney.
Committee report, please.
Councilman Potts.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Traffic and Parking voted to approve the substitute 4-4, 0 against, and that we approved the bill as substitute 4-4, 0 against.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Bedney.
I move to approve.
You need to substitute first.
I would like to move the substitute.
There's a motion to substitute. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. You're on your resolution as substituted.
So this is a resolution asking the MTA, our systems that are our billboards driving around the city, to help us share information about the services that our agencies provide to Metro. Many of us get frustrated often in our inability to reach out to people in Nashville and let them know of all the great programs Nashville has. So I wrote the resolution, and then MTA had some feedback that we adjusted. So this is just doing something they really wanted to do anyway, which is to create an opportunity for people in Nashville to learn more about the programs that are available. So I request your approval on that resolution.
Councilman O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I would ask the sponsor just to make sure I know that he mentioned that MTA had feedback. As a former board member of the authority, I know that this is the sort of thing that could actually have an impact on their budget. So I just want to make sure that MTA accepts this as substituted. So if the sponsor could clarify that in terms of fiscal impact, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, they actually they were here today at the committee. They were in support. And by the way, people from Metro that want to advertise at the buses, they will pay for the cost of it. So it's I think it's neutral for MTA, but it gives us an opportunity to share the great programs that we have in Metro.
No one else seeking recognition. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. RS 2017-682. Council Lady Verger establishes the certified tax rate in the General Services District and declares the amount of the certified rate for the Urban Services District. Council Lady Verger.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance, this was deferred by committee, 11-4, 0 against.
And the motion is to defer?
Yes.
To track, so how many?
To track with the budget.
Motion to defer to track with the budget. Is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. RS 2017-685, Council Lady Vercher. Approves the Metro Animal Care and Control fee schedule. Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Budget and Finance Committee, this is also deferred to track with the budget as well. 11 for, 0 against.
Councilor Lee Gilmore, do you have a report on 685?
And correct me, Vice Mayor, was deferred as amended. 11 for, 0 against.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We deferred it to track with the budget.
Thank you, Councilor.
6-4 for that deferral.
Thank you. Motion to defer to track with the budget. Is that correct, Council Lady?
Yes, Vice Mayor.
Motion. You have an amendment you want to offer before we defer it, Council Lady? Let's go ahead and clean the bill up just a little bit.
I apologize, Vice Mayor.
That's all right. We're all. Motion to amend.
Yep, I move for amendment.
Motion to amend is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. You're on your resolution as amended.
I move as amended. I apologize.
Okay, there's a motion to defer to track with the budget as amended. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Sorry, Council Lady.
That's okay. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
RS 2017-690, Council Lady Vercher, authorizes the execution of a virturation agreement between Metro and the Metro Development and Housing Agency. I am not making that up. Look, right here. Read it, Mr. Jameson. It says virturation. And I'm like, really? Council Lady, you have an agreement named after you. Between Metro and the Development and Housing Agency. It's cooperation, is that? Cooperation agreement. Okay. Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance approve 11 for, 0 against.
And is there a motion?
I keep forgetting that.
I'm going to come to you. I know I'm coming to you. Is that a motion to approve, Council Lady?
Yes, a motion. I move for approval.
There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. Councilman Mendez.
Move to suspend the rules to offer an amendment.
There's a motion to suspend the rules. Is there objection? Seeing none, Councilman Mendez.
Move the amendment that was left on everybody's desk earlier today.
There's a motion to amend. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Do you want to explain your amendment now?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
On the bill?
Sure. I'm getting informal questions about that. The cooperation agreement is required under state law in order for MDHA's properties to be tax exempt. They need to enter a cooperation agreement for payments in lieu of taxes. As offered, there were some things that I thought needed to be changed that I can go through in a second. And through much of yesterday, I worked with MDHA to work on an agreeable set of changes, and that's what was in the amendment. The changes basically made it, as offered, the cooperation agreement didn't have a termination date. Now, the amendment, it has a 7-year termination date, so it'll be reassessed and renegotiated at that time. The cooperation agreement was silent about what happens if commercial properties get built on MDHA housing projects, what happens with the payment in lieu of taxes. The amendment requires that if a commercial property, whether it's retail, office, any for-profit use is built on MDHA housing project, is subject to a pilot equal to the amount of property taxes if it was owned by a non-housing authority. And then finally, MDHA, while they've for their entire history built only low-income housing, in the Envision projects intend on both KC and Suticum Napier plan on building market rate housing to be mixed in to have a mixed income community. And the amendment agrees on on a different pilot amount for market rate units than what happens for the low-income units. And MDHA, Mr. Harbison, and Saul Solomon worked this out yesterday, and that's the purpose of the amendment.
Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Just wanted to thank Councilmember Mendez in particular for working through some questions that arose with this resolution as it was originally proposed. I appreciate Councilmember Cooper as the Budget and Finance Committee Chair always extending such attention to detail on finance matters for our county. The District 6 community, and particularly the Casey community, has participated for a number of years now in the Envision Casey process, and we're really looking forward to getting started on construction on the Kirkpatrick Park phase. And with everyone's support today of this amendment, we can keep that progress going. This will allow financing to continue with a rate lock that is very favorable to MDHA and by extension to Metro and our constituents. And so again, just wanted to thank Councilmember Mendez in particular for working so closely with Mr. Harbison at MDHA, and in particular with MDHA's legal counsel, Mr. Saul Solomon. And with that, I will request everyone's approval. Thank you.
Councilman Hastings.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, and to all of you that have worked on this project. I just wanted to say to all of us who have Metro public housing inside of our districts, I encourage you to actually take a look at what's going on right now, because you will be presented with the same opportunity and things that are coming forth. We do want good housing. We want the affordable housing concept to come forth within our communities, but we want to fit it to where it is not the same thing as usual. So let's take an approach right now to where we're learning from what's going forth at Councilman Withers' district, and we're looking forward for greater things to come. Thank you.
There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Members of the council, I do not recall reading 699. So just to make sure we're not making a mistake, I'm going to go back and redo 699. RS 2017-699, Council Lady Vercher, Hendon and Hurt, approves a Healthy Out-of-School grant from the National Recreation and Park Association in partnership with the Walmart Foundation to the Metro Parks and Recreation Department to increase the number of healthy meals children in low-income communities receive, provide nutrition literacy, and implement nutrition standards to access healthier food. Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance approved, 11 for, 0 against.
Council Lady Henderson. Council Lady Henderson, 699. I know you gave the report before, but
Indeed,
I don't recall reading when I did the consent agenda, so we're doing it again.
I have given my committee report away, but my recollection is that the Parks and Libraries Committee recommended approval, 6 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Council Lady.
Thank you.
So there's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. RS 2017-700, Council Lady Vercher and Gilmore, approves a contract between Hager Environmental and Atmospheric Technologies and the Metro Board of Health for automobile emissions testing. I did read that one before, but I was not supposed to. So now we're coming back. Council Lady Vercher, one more time.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance approved, 11 for, 0 against. I move for approval.
Let's get Council Lady Gilmore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Health
Hospitals.
Health, Hospital, and Social Services Committee recommended it 7 for and 0 against. With just a quick discussion that I think was going to lead into Councilmember Schulman's. We wanted a little bit more about the finances of how much it would cost and how those monies were allocated from those fees that were charged. All right.
There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. Councilman Schulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, and thank you, Madam Chair. I was sitting here thinking about it. So a long, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, when the vice mayor and I used to serve on this council, this issue kept coming up in terms of emissions testing and those fees. And I think we used to have big fights over those fees about how they were set. So I think it's important to get these contracts through, understand that. But what I'm asking the finance department to do on both this one, 700, and 701 is I simply want to know the fees that we charge our constituents to go get those tests. I know it's $9. Where does that money go? Exactly where does it go? I know that we have to pay for some of the services, but the rest of it, where does that go? Because again, a long time ago, we were told it was going someplace and it never went there. So it doesn't have to be done tonight. Just at some point, if you can figure out for the $9 on both those contracts, where does that money go?
I could speak to that now if you wish.
You can go ahead and speak to it right now if you like.
Okay, there's as noted in the analysis, a portion of that fee goes back to the contractor, and the amount is different under each of these resolutions, but the balance of the revenue goes to the Metro General Fund in support of these programs.
Okay, so what I would like to do is know exactly how much of that money goes to support that program, and does any of the money, does it all go to support those programs, or does any of it go someplace else? And here's the reason for asking. I believe, it hasn't been that long, but a long time ago, we were told that we needed to keep those fees at a level where, because we try to reduce them. Again, this is what we charge our constituents to get their emissions testing. The idea was, why don't we just charge them what it cost us to pay for the service? But we were told a long time ago, this was long before this administration, that we needed to charge the extra money because we were going to put clerk's offices at those emissions testing. That's why we needed to keep that money high, because we would have liked to have taken it from $9 down back to $6. I believe this is right, it started at 6, it went to 10, and then went back to 9. I'd like to bring it back down for our constituents if we don't need to do it. I understand that we have to pay for the services for the company and pay for the operation of of the health department and the role. I don't want to bother with that. I just want to make sure I understand where that money all goes.
Councilman, I do recall that conversation as well, because we worked very, very closely with the health department on determining the cost to justify the drop at that time to go from $10 to $9. And we can go in, they routinely go in and look at those fees on an annual basis to make sure that they are still covering costs, because we are not allowed to make any kind of a profit on that fee. And we do look at that on an annual basis, but we can go in and take another look at that for you and just send you an update on that. But I agree with you, that is only should cover the costs necessary to run the program.
And that's what I'm looking for. All right, thank you.
No one else seeking recognition. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. RS 2017-701, Vercher and Gilmore, approves a contract between Opus Inspection Incorporated and Metro for services related to automobile emission testing. Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance approved 11-4, 0 against.
Council Lady Gilmore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Health, Hospitals, and Social Services approved 7-4 and 0 against. And if I could just make a brief comment that we had in our committee, I think it's very relevant. I just kind of glanced over it, and then I realized I should have spoken to it. These two contracts are interesting in that we're moving towards a new system that people will not have to actually go to a physical facility to get their emissions measured. The way that we're moving is that they will be able to drive around the city, and that there will be some poles or something of that nature set up that will measure it, and that they will get a notice in the mail. So this is pretty high tech, and we're moving away from, that's what you call them, physical facilities. And so I just wanted to state to the listening public is that's what these two resolutions are concerning, which is pretty innovative. And it won't cost any, thank you, yes, and one of the committee members said it won't cost anything extra. So thank you for that.
Council Lady Vercher.
I move for approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. RS 2017-707, Council Lady Vercher and Councilman Elrod approves a grant from the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency to the Metro Water Services Department to purchase and remove 5 houses which lie in various floodplain areas. Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance, this bill was withdrawn, 11-4-0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Public Works took no action.
Council Lady Vercher.
I move for approval. I'm sorry, I move for withdrawal.
It's a motion to withdraw. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. I believe there's one late filed resolution, Council Lady Vercher. Need to move to suspend the rules.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move to suspend the rules.
Is there, Councilman Shulman?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. There may be a couple of things that are floating through that need to be suspended, but I'll tell you on all these matters, the Rules Committee looked at it and was perfectly fine with the understanding. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there objection to suspension of the rules? Seeing none, Council Lady Vercher.
I don't have my agenda. Oh, there it is.
This is a late resolution. Council Lady Vercher, Councilman Cooper issues general obligation bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $288 million. Council Lady Vercher. Budget and Finance have a recommendation?
1 second, Vice Mayor. I don't.
Did it?
I believe this was one where we were going to defer to track with the budget.
All right, Council Lady. There's a motion to defer
I move for deferral. Yeah.
to track with the budget. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to bills on introduction and first reading. Without objection, we'll take all those matters together. Seeing no objection, is there a motion to approve bills on introduction and first reading? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. We do 2 late ordinances, both related to the budgeting process. Councilman Shulman, your committee saw these already and has no objection. Is there objection to suspension of the rules to allow for 2 late filed ordinances related to the budget? Seeing no objection. The first one is late ordinance filed by Vercher and Murphy, creates various new positions within the metropolitan government. And the second, so let's handle that one. Council Lady Vercher, you're moving approval on this one. Motion to approve. You're on.
I move for approval.
This motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. The second one is late ordinance filed by Vercher and Council Lady Allen adopts the 2017-2018 through 2022-2023 capital improvements budget. Also a motion to approve, Council Lady.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I move for approval.
There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. This always happens in May when we're getting into budgeting process where we sort of know we're going to have to suspend our rules just to get everything lined up in order. So thanks for your cooperation and patience on that one. Are you seeking recognition, Council Lady Vercher? Thank you. Bills on second reading, BL 2017-608, Hager, Roten, and others, amends the Metro Code to establish distinct land uses for short-term rental property, owner-occupied and non-owner occupied, and establishes a phase-out date in year 2021 for short-term rental property not owner-occupied. Hager, Councilman Hager.
As y'all all know, we've been through.
Let's get a committee report.
Oh, I'm sorry. Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Floor is yours.
As everybody knows, we've been through 2 marathon hearings on 608. We had one with the Planning Commission that went till about 1:30 in the morning. This bill was unanimously approved by the Planning Commission. And then we had our public hearing the last time we were here in the council, and we went till about 1:15 that morning. So this bill is a bill that is only applicable to the non-owner occupieds in the R and RS districts. And I'm asking that this bill be passed on second reading. And then I'll be asking on third reading that it be passed till July the 20th, which at that time, there'll be several amendments that are coming in from other council members, and I'll have some myself, so we can have further discussions concerning 608 and any amendment that need to be placed with it. So at this time, I'm asking the council to pass it on second reading, and on third reading, it'll be passed till July the 20th, at which time we'll have several amendments coming in. I've also been informed that we will have another meeting concerning these amendments, and we will announce that to the public so we can have that meeting here so we can all discuss it. In addition, I want to let it be known that it's my understanding, since this is pending legislation, that Codes Department is not renewing some of the Type 2s, which they probably need to do until we have the final hearing on this matter. Once I pass this on third reading, then I want to refer it back to the Planning and Zoning Committee so we can discuss those amendments once we've all determined what those amendments are going to be. Thank you.
Well, let me make sure I understand. After you pass it on third reading, it's not going back anywhere. It's done. So I think what you're saying is you want to adopt it on second reading.
Correct.
Defer third reading to the second meeting in July, and re-refer to the Planning and Zoning Committee on third reading. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. There's a motion to adopt on second reading, defer third reading to the second meeting in July, and re-refer to the Planning and Zoning Committee. Council Lady Roberts would like to be recorded as abstaining. Seeing no one else seeking recognition, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-646, Councilman Rosenberg and Sledge, amends the Metro Code to add a new section regulating the installation and operation of unmanned surveillance devices within the public right-of-way without prior Metro Council approval. Councilman Rosenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Murphy.
Personnel, Public Information, Human Relations, and Housing Committee recommended as amended, 5 in favor, 1 against.
Councilman Pardue.
Public Safety passed 4-2.
Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommended approval, 8 in favor, 2 against.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Rosenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the bill that's before us will implement a long overdue concept, and that's public input regarding the implementation of surveillance technology and techniques. Since filing this, I've learned that there's a national trend toward implementing policies such as these. In fact, we're one of 64 cities currently considering action on this subject matter. As amended, this legislation does 2 things. It establishes council oversight with public input for any drastic increases in the use of surveillance by Metro government, and it seeks to stop the installation of mass collection license plate scanners. The inventory language comes from weeks of conversation with stakeholders who brought up legitimate concerns with the original language and also had suggestions on how to make it more effective. These conversations included Metro Police, ITS, Metro Health, and representatives from Seattle's government, the ACLU, and the Electronic Frontier Foundation, and I'm grateful for their input. Under this legislation, in some very specific situations, the Metro Council would have the opportunity to hear from the public and vote via single reading resolution whether to allow additional surveillance to be purchased or installed in public rights-of-way. This provision would be triggered only if it's a brand new type of technology or if it represents an increase in the use of that technology by more than 50%. For example, if a department currently operates 200 permanently installed cameras, under current law, if they so desired, they could place a camera on every street lamp and telephone pole in Nashville and tell nobody. Under this proposal, they could still install another 100 cameras without telling anyone, but if they wanted to go beyond that and dramatically expand the surveillance program, they would simply need to come before our council for approval. That's all the oversight this bill creates. Additionally, it would prevent the continuous operation of license plate readers used to accumulate personal travel data that can be used to track the habits and patterns of Nashvillians. Metro Police does not use these cameras, but one satellite city has stated its intention to place 17 of these license plate readers along the borders of its city, including on major arteries, in the hopes of not only tracking who is coming into and leaving their city, but also with the intention of starting a trend that will lead to these license plate readers being placed on streets throughout Nashville. The ACLU, EFF, and even the FBI have identified major privacy concerns with these devices, and stories of hacking, disclosure of private activities via open records demands, and nefarious use have been identified across the country. This would protect Nashvillians from such issues. Now, a little bit about what this limited bill does not do. It does not ban the use of surveillance technology. It does not require any agency to come before the council for small increases in the use of surveillance equipment. It does not require any agency to come before council for the use of temporary, mobile, or permanent surveillance temporary, mobile, or portable surveillance equipment. It does not require any agency to come before the council for the use of surveillance equipment in an active investigation. And it does not require any agency to come before the council for the use of equipment that anonymizes the data it collects. The main thrust here is that the people of Nashville, for the first time, will have a voice in how their government surveils them. It speaks to many of the guiding principles of a national partnership known as community control, which is made of organizations including the NAACP, the ACLU, the 10th Amendment Center, CARE, and the EFF. With that explanation, Mr. President, I move approval.
Did you intend to amend your legislation?
Just like a Swiss watch. That would be helpful. I'd like to the amendment.
I hated to let you know it was dramatic ending and all that.
I had it all planned. I'm going to start over if that's all right.
Yeah. You got a minute 36. There we go. Motion to amend is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. And now, is there a motion to approve as amended? Motion to approve as amended. Council Lady Mina Johnson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. My district happened to have City of Belmead, which interestingly have one tested surveillance camera. But their purpose is not tracking the license plate. Rather, all the license plate will be recorded, and if nothing had happened, it will be just there. And only time City of Belmead police will access is if something happens, such as robbery, any unpleasant incident. So that's the only purpose. So we had a meeting at the City of Belmead about a week ago and discussed how we can come up with a balance, safety measurement and privacy. And unfortunately, it is so hard to come up with what's the right balance to come up with a method by regulation. And I am all for not, have too much surveillance. I'm all for it. However, I am all for to protect the safety of my constituent. So for that reason, I think the bill is presented, unfortunately, have a very negative impact. So I would like to defy it and give us more chance to make this bill more appropriate to balance safety and privacy. And it was stated, as Mr. Rosenberg's statement, it is tracking or profiling. City of Belmead is not using this camera for tracking purpose or speeding purpose or policing who's coming in or coming out of the city, none of those, no profiling. So I would like to ask us to give a little bit more time to have right regulation going forward, because technology will be coming. I mean, right now, if anybody with a Google phone or iPhone and sitting with the camera, yes, you can take more privacy. So I think I do appreciate Councilmember Rosenberg's intention, but I think the way we are going in and much less input from MNPD, I think there's no reason for us to rush into this decision. So I respectfully ask to slow down or defer it. Thank you.
Is that a motion to defer?
Yes, motion to defer.
Is there a second? Councilman Schulman.
Talk on the deferral. Here's my concern. We had a lot of discussion in the Public Works Committee, and I mean, at this point, I'm simply not comfortable with the bill. This is, there was a big argument and a good argument about safety versus privacy. We can get into all kinds of things. I don't think there was, we're getting into this point where people are thinking that there's going to be horrible things that happen with the technology. We haven't even had a discussion about the technology to figure out whether people can hack into it or what. I don't even know what we're talking about. But there's a move quickly to get this bill passed. We know, what we weren't clear on, and I may have missed part of this because I had to leave the committee early, I'm not sure where the Metropolitan Police Department is. I do know that this substantial increase in if somebody wants a camera and they have 0 and it goes to 1, that has to be brought before the committee. We're not talking about 200 cameras that are increasing to 300. We're talking about if somebody has 1 and wants to go to 2, that's going to have to be brought before this thing. All I know is that there is opposition to this bill. And we know where it is, and people can complain all they want, but we've been told that there's opposition to this bill. I don't know where the police are on this thing. I'd like to hear from them. We tried to get the committee to defer. They did not, so we're pushing this bill very quickly. That's one thing I always worry about, particularly if there's no immediate rush on, like we deal with the budget. If this is a safety issue, a privacy issue, I would like to, before we start passing stuff and then trying to go back and fix it, always seems to me that we bring all the parties to the table and make sure we understand, and then we see if we can get something worked out. Because, again, we know sometimes when we don't work things out, things get worked out for us. So anyway, I support the motion to defer. If it doesn't pass, I know that people are going to be talking to us between second and third and trying to figure out what we're doing. We're not, in this case, I'm not sure if we're listening to people like we should. I know that there's been meetings, but I know what people have said, and it looks like we got an amendment that's going to go right over folks. So I really would like to spend some time trying to work this thing out.
Councilman Hager.
I'm a little bit confused about it, because when we start talking about surveillance, are we talking about drones, or are we just talking about the surveillance on buses and stuff? Because as far as drones are concerned, can you answer that for me, Mr. Jameson?
So Section 2A specifies the specific types of devices that are contemplated by surveillance technology. Some of them are beyond my capability, exactly what an X-ray van is. Drones are not included, but you also include such items as the automatic license plate readers, biometric surveillance technology, surveillance-enabled or capable light bulbs or light fixtures, and so forth. That's set out Section 2A of the ordinance amendment.
I just wanted to make sure, because I took a legal seminar on drones, and they're all controlled by the FAA, and I wanted to make sure we weren't getting involved with that. Thank you.
Yeah, it'll be his third deferral.
Councilman Elrod.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. We did have a lengthy discussion in the Public Works Committee, and I'm happy for it. I'm always happy we have discussions on issues to try to work them out. But I think from the discussion that I heard was, and I appreciate Councilwoman Johnson representing her constituents, and she's done that very well on this bill, as she always does. However, the discussion, I think, turned, at least in relation to the particular satellite city, is that they want to be able to read license plates with a camera, and this bill does not want to allow them. So while I always want to try to have parties work it out, I think that is a yes or no question that I don't believe working on the legislation more will work that out. License plate readers are something that are information that is public record. Every record or everything that camera reads is a public record that any constituent, anyone in Tennessee can ask for, that they can pay money for, and the Bell Mead has to hand it over. As long as they pay the fee to collect the data, Bell Mead would have to hand that over. Anyone in Bell Mead could request that information. Now, I respect the current officials and folks in Bell Mead, the police department, and I have no belief that they have any ill intent behind what they want to do to try to protect their city. However, folks are only in office, folks are only in charge of a police department for a short period of time, and there are no other policies, laws that restrict the use of this type of data. That means that 10 years, they could, an example that I gave in the Public Works Committee is that, someone could say, hey, everyone in this city, let's all give our license plate numbers to the police department, and then any cars that come through this camera that don't have those license plates, we'll flag them automatically. I mean, there's no, shortage of imagination of what could be used with this type of data. And I say this to say is that these are not things that I believe or should be, not have restrictions on them. And I think the trying to work it out is, while I appreciate trying to do that, I think it eventually comes down to whether you believe those type of devices should be used or not. And under the bill, the process, sets out a process where you have to come to the council to approve surveillance type devices. So I would oppose the motion to defer for that reason, that you're either for them or against them. And for that, I move to lay the motion to defer on the table.
On the end.
Unfortunately, our rules don't allow you to move to the table after you've spoken. That sort of has to be your first words. We do not operate like the state legislature. Councilman O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. With all due respect to Councilman Schulman on the effort to defer here, we did hear this in committee. The committee, it comes to the floor with an approval from the committee. While there was dissent in the committee, I think that does speak to the strength of feeling here. I think those of us who are in support of this bill, which I am as amended, are erring on the side of recognizing privacy itself as a form of safety for the individual. Anybody subject to one of the surveillance devices here and on a recorded basis in particular has no option to remove themselves from the public record in that regard in the worst scenarios. And with respect to the issue of intent, any system can be well-intentioned here, but once you get to big data that is recorded in a big way, we're dealing with headlines from around the world right now with anything from ransomware to hacked data, personally identifiable information that demonstrates patterns of behavior, patterns of activity, and these kinds of things can actually amount to threats to personal safety, especially when juveniles are involved in other scenarios related to family life. I think, for my part, I would recommend that this body defeat the motion to defer, approve the bill as amended. If there are opportunities, which we did not hear in committee, to move this bill to a place where it is more satisfactory to more parties, including those in the law enforcement community, that don't injure the idea of privacy in particular, I'm happy to look at policies going forward, but I think to that end, it's important to clarify this bill is in no way a prohibition. This bill is an opportunity for us to offer accountability and oversight on behalf of our constituents to ensure that they are both safe and have their privacy recognized. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Your character wasn't impugned.
Order. Have a seat. Councilman Hastings.
Stand to call for the question.
The question's been called. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You're on the motion to defer. All in favor? Opposed? No. Motion fails. Councilman Sledge.
Previous question.
Previous question's been called. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. This motion to approve on second reading is properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Go to the machines, please. I just push the next speaker button. That's all I do over here. Why they built it this way. Next speaker. Next speaker. I think that's it, Madam Clerk.
I have 28 for, 6 against, 1 abstention.
Motion carries. BL 2017-688, Councilman Coleman. Amends the Metro Code to permit the construction and use of electric fences pursuant to certain standards. Councilman Coleman.
Committee report.
You're
and the committee voted 4 for, none against for 1 meeting deferral.
There's a motion to defer 1 meeting. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-705, Councilman Shulman, Council Lady Blaylock, establishes an incentive program to allow neighborhoods to be awarded for meeting all codes requirements. Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance was deferred 1 meeting, 11 for, 0 against.
Councilman Coleman.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. At the request of the sponsor, the Codes Committee voted 3 for, none against for 1 meeting deferral.
Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Defer 1 meeting.
Motion to defer 1 meeting is properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-706, Councilman Scott Davis, amends the Metro Code to establish a new Metropolitan Neighborhood Improvement Fund Commission and to dedicate a portion of the transient occupancy privilege taxes generated by short-term rental properties to the new NIF fund. Councilman Scott Davis.
Reports, please.
Councilman Bednay.
The committee voted to defer till the first meeting in July, I believe he wanted.
Councilman, I'm sorry, Councilor Vercher.
Budget and Finance moved to defer 1 meet, defer to the July 6th meeting, 11 for, 0 against.
Councilman Davis.
I'd like to defer this to the first meeting in July, please.
Motion to defer to July 6th, properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-707, Council Lady Murphy and Vercher, amends the Metro Code with respect to procurement of telecommunications and internet access services. Council Lady Murphy.
Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Vercher.
Budget and Finance moved to defer 1 meeting, 11 for, 0 against.
Council Lady Murphy.
The Personnel Committee also moved to defer 1 meeting, 6 for, 0 against. And I would move to defer 1 meeting.
Motion to defer 1 meeting is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. You should stay with me, guys. BL 2017-708, Councilman Sledge, Council Lady Murphy, establishes a public records request coordinator to adopt a public records policy for the Metropolitan Code of Laws. Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Council Lady Murphy.
The Personnel Committee voted the bill as amended for approval, 6-4-0 against.
Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I need to move the amendment, please.
This motion to amend is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. You're on your bill as amended.
I'll move the bill as amended.
Motion to approve on second reading is properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 2017-709, Council Lady Vercher approves a contract between the Department of Public Works and Nashville Downtown Partnership for the management of public parking facilities. Council Lady Vercher.
Budget and Finance, approve 11-4-0 against. I move for approval.
Let's get Councilman Potts. 709, Councilman Potts.
Sorry about that, Vice Mayor.
709.
Vote to approve 4-4-0 against.
Thank you, Councilman. Council Lady. Council Lady Vercher.
I move for approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? I'm sorry, Councilman Elrod.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Being that this deals with Public Works, could I have request that this go to the Public Works Committee before third reading?
Sure. Let's, Madam Clerk, can you just handle that? All right.
Thank you all.
It'll go there. There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-710. Council Lady Vercher, Elrod, and Allen authorizes Metro to enter into a consulting contract for a long-term solid waste management plan. Council Lady Vercher.
Budget and Finance, approve 11-4-0 against.
Council Lady Allen. I'm sorry, Councilman Elrod. I skipped down one there. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. And the sheet that I turned in was incorrect. We recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against, but for it to come back on third reading before the Public Works Committee, again on third reading.
All right. Councilman Schulman, were you seeking recognition?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Just a quick question on this measure, and I know it's on second consideration. Between second and third, we have the bid information that came in. This is the contract is going to be with it's CDM Smith. We found some information back from Public Works, but what I'm looking for is the overall value of this contract. And then if we could, maybe between second and third, an explanation. Based upon the summary of the offers, we have selected the vendor who by far was the highest cost to the city. We had 6 vendors that applied, and I can't tell if this is a yearly cost, but it's they were at least $200,000 more than the second lowest vendor. They scored very high on the cost. Their technical evaluation scored a lot better, and I'd just like to make sure we're clear on what we're doing. But this is costing the city a lot more money. Just want to make sure we're spending it correctly. Thank you.
Councilman Elrod, were you seeking recognition?
Yes, sir. And I wanted to speak to that because I think there was some incorrect information that was shared. The cost of the contract it states that it has a value of $2 million. However, I believe that's the length of the contract, and actually we're only appropriating $449,999, basically $500,000, and getting $220,000 from the state for some extra services under the contract. So that is only for the first year, and so anything after that would have to come back to the council. So if they want to go into a second year for any amount of money, that would have to be approved by council because that would be amendment to the contract. Also, there are clauses in the contract, 2 of them that I think are also pertinent to this. One is that it can be the contract can be canceled for a lack of funding. It can also be canceled with 30 days notice to the vendor. So I think that's important, and I still want the numbers to come to the Public Works Committee and to still be discussed from Burnt about what they want change in the contract, but I think it's ready to go forward on second reading. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
No one else seeking recognition? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-711, Vercher, Elrod, and Allen authorizes the acquisition of certain right-of-way easements, drainage easements, temporary construction easements, and property rights for use in public projects for purposes of the Hobson Pike sidewalk improvements. Council Lady Vercher.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance to approve 11-4-0 against.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, and Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Public Works recommend approval, 10 in favor, 0 against.
Councilor Vercher.
I move for approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Before we go on any further, I want to go back and clarify one thing about Bill 2017-608. Councilman Hager, you moved to defer to July 20th. There is actually not a meeting on July 20th because we're meeting on Thursday for the first meeting. Did you intend to defer to the second meeting in July?
That is correct.
So we would be deferring it to July 18th instead.
July 18th? That's fine.
Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
I heard first meeting in July, so. Second, okay.
The second meeting in July.
The second meeting in July.
Right, just to confirm. And that is the 18th, not the 20th. We're meeting on July 6th because the 4th is a Tuesday. So anyway, just want to make sure we had that clear before I moved on.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. BL 2017-712, Pridemore, Vercher, and others. Authorizes the acquisition of certain right-of-way easements, drainage easements, temporary construction easements, and property rights for use in public projects for the Delaware Avenue sidewalk improvements. Councilman Pridemore.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilor Vercher.
Budget and Finance to approve, 11 for, 0 against.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zone, Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Public Works recommend approval, 10 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Pridemore. Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-713, Murphy, Elrod, and Allen. Abandons existing sanitary sewer and water mains and easements and accepts a new sanitary sewer main, manholes, and easements for properties located at 4101 Ridgefield Drive and 211 Innsworth Place. Councilor Murphy.
Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zone, Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend approval, 10 in favor, 0 against.
Councilor Murphy.
I'd like to move for approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-714, Councilman Kendall, Elrod, and Allen. Abandons existing combination sewer main and any associated easements and accepts a new sanitary sewer manhole, fire hydrants, and any associated easements for property located at 350 22nd Avenue North. Councilman Kendall.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Call for committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zone, Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Public Works recommend approval, 10 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Kendall.
Move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-715, Elrod and Allen authorizes Metro government to accept permanent and temporary easements for the Roundwood Forest Drive Water Improvement Project for properties located at 3617 and 3621 Roundwood Forest Drive. Councilman Elrod.
Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zone, Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend approval, 10 in favor, 0 against. To move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-716. Elrod and Allen authorizes Metro to accept permanent and temporary easements for the Van Buren Street Stormwater Improvement Project for properties located at 101A and 101 Van Buren Street. Councilman Elrod.
Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zone, Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend approval, 10 in favor, 0 against. Move approval.
There's a motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-717. Council Lady Van Reese, Elrod, and Allen changes the name of a portion of Due West Avenue to West Due West Avenue. Council Lady Van Reese.
Committee reports.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. After commenting on the name and figuring you'd have fun with that, the Planning, Zoning, Historical Committee recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Yes, we don't want to.
Hold on, Council Lady. Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend approval, 10 in favor and 0 against, and I'm looking forward to this.
Councilman Potts.
Traffic and Parking voted to approve, 4 for, 0 against.
Council Lady Van Reese.
Not to be confused with East Due West Avenue or Old Due West Avenue or simple Due West Avenue, West Due West Avenue, where I used to live. When we called it West Due West Avenue North, I move approval.
Motion to approve, properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 2017-718, Elrod and Allen authorizes Jury Nashville LLC to construct and install, construct, and maintain underground and aerial encroachments in the right-of-way at 315 3rd Avenue South. Councilman Elrod.
I'm looking forward to a good joke on that one before third reading, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Council Lee Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zone, Historical, recommend approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend approval, 10 in favor, 0 against. Move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to bills on third reading. Bill 2016-360, Council Lee Hurt, Councilman Leonardo. Changes 10.0 acres from AR2A to IWD zoning for property located at 3920 Stewart's Lane. Councilman Leonardo.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Council Lee Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical, recommend approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Leonardo.
At this time, Mr. Vice Mayor, I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules. So I have a substitute that is actually more stringent in the form of an SP that I would like to move. I did send a letter to the Rules Committee today, and I guess I'll let Mr. Schulman address that.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. The letter was received, Rules Committee reviewed, and the Rules Committee is okay with the suspension of the rules.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilman Schulman. At this time, I would like to move my substitute.
This is a motion to substitute. It's properly seconded. Are you seeking recognition after we substitute? Okay. There's a motion to substitute. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. You're on your bill as substituted, Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. At this time, I would like to make a motion to defer this to the second meeting in July and re-refer this to the Planning Commission as required under Rule 21.
There's a motion to defer and re-refer to the Planning Commission. Was there a date specific for deferral? I didn't hear it.
Second meeting in July.
Second meeting in July. I'm sorry, I missed that. Motion to defer to the second meeting in July and re-refer to the Planning Commission. Properly seconded. Council Lady Gilmore, do you still seek recognition? There
I did. I had a quick question. I just wanted to see, was there a public hearing associated with this one?
I'm sure there was.
Okay, and I just wanted to see how you were noticing the people that participated in that, since you're amending this on third reading.
So, Council Lady, we didn't have anybody show up to the public hearing on the second.
No, I'm just asking how you.
And they will have to notice. What I'm doing is I'm making it more stringent. In District 1, I don't do blanket rezonings, especially with an IWD. And so we have an SP in there to make sure that any final site plan is going to be approved by the community, and there'll be a public hearing before the Planning Commission. So it's more of a system of checks and balances, an opportunity to be heard rather than less.
Okay.
Council members, please address the chair.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. There's a motion to defer to the second meeting in July and refer to the Planning Commission. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-611, Councilman Bedney amends the Metro Code to require the consent of adjacent property owners, homeowner associations, condominium associations, or other community associations prior to the issuance of a short-term rental property permit. Councilman Bedney. Anybody else signed on to that bill? Move that to the heel. BL 2017-653, Council Lady Allen, Councilman Bedney, amends the Metro Code to revise the list of acceptable documents establishing occupation. Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I think I do need to have a committee report. And I am the committee report.
And you are it.
So Planning, Zoning, and Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against. And I would like to move approval with a very brief explanation.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. This bill simply provides 2 more options for approving occupancy in a residence for short-term rental. I know there are some people that are concerned that we may need some better regulations to prove ownership of a short-term rental, and I believe that we can address that with some of the many amendments that will probably be part of Bill 608. So because this one is simply dealing with establishing residency and not ownership, I'd like to go ahead and move this one forward and get this piece taken care of, because knowing someone is actually occupying the residence, occupying the property is going to become very important when we make the big distinction between owner-occupied and non-owner-occupied. So With that brief explanation, I move for approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Let's go back to 611. BL 2017-611, Councilman Bedney amends the Metro Code to require the consent of adjacent property owners, homeowner associations, condominium associations, or other community associations prior to issuance of a short-term rental property permit. Councilman Bedney.
Yeah, first of all, sorry, that was a constituent that called me. I had to take care of it. And
Councilman, committee reports, Councilor Allen. 611.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I have to find it. Give me just 1 second. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended a deferral to July 6, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman?
I move to defer.
To July 6th. Motion to defer to July 6th. Properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 2017-654, Council Lady Weiner, Rosenberg, and others. Amends the Metro Code to substitute place of worship or religious institution for church. Who's handling Weiner? Councilman Rosenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move approval.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
The motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-655, Council Lady Murphy. Changes 13.12 acres from OG and RM40 to SP zoning for property located at 109 and 123 Bosley Springs Road to permit a mixed-use development. Council Lady Murphy.
Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. At the request of the sponsor, Planning, Zoning, and Historical recommended a 1-meeting deferral, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilor
I move
Murphy.
to defer 1 meeting.
Motion to defer 1 meeting, properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-667, Councilman Anthony Davis. Applies the Neighborhood Conservation Overlay District to 72.61 acres of various properties along Eastdale Avenue, East Riverwood Drive, Eastdale Place, Riverwood Drive, and Plymouth Avenue, east of Gallatin Pike. Councilman Anthony Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I need to move my substitute.
Let's get committee reports first. Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, and Historical recommended the bill as substituted, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Davis.
Now I'll move the substitute, please.
The motion to substitute is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. You're on your bill as substituted.
Move the bill as substituted.
There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-668, Councilman Sledge. Changes 109.30 acres from R6 to R6A zoning for various properties located along Little Hamilton Avenue, Pillow Street, Rains Avenue, Mallory Street, Moore Avenue, Wingrove Avenue, Byram Avenue, Carvel Avenue, Neal Terrace, Allison Place, Martin Street, Stewart Place, Southgate Avenue, Hamilton Avenue, Merritt Avenue, and Wedgwood Avenue. Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I need to move suspension of Rule 11 with a brief explanation from the Rules Committee Chair.
Sorry. There you go, Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Yeah, we got a notice about suspension of Rule 11 on this one. Rules Committee reviewed and was okay with the suspension.
Motion to suspend the rules. Is there objection? Seeing none, Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I need to move the substitute before you. The substitute is purely typographical. Thanks to the good work of our staff, and Brandon in particular, noticed a couple of typographical errors for street names. This bill does not affect a single property. It only corrects the street names. And with that, I would move the substitute.
Motion to substitute is properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You're on your bill as substituted.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I move the bill as substituted.
There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-669, Councilman Hager changes 7.89 acres from CS to R6A zoning for various properties located along Keaton Avenue and Rayon Drive. Councilman Hager.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Hager.
Move for passage.
There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 2017-670, Councilman Pulley, applies a contextual overlay district to 62.83 acres for various properties on Audubon Road, Dale Avenue, Galloway Drive, Glendale Lane, Gray Oaks Drive, Leland Lane, Milesdale Court, Milesdale Drive, Scenic Drive, and Tower Place located north of Battery Lane. Councilman Pulley.
With all committee reports in, I would move approval with a, sir? No, I'm sorry, there is one more committee report.
Council Lady
Committee
Allen.
reports, please.
Thank you, Mr.
Councilor
Vice Mayor.
Allen.
Planning, Zoning, and Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Pulley.
Well, with that committee report in, I would move approval with a brief explanation.
Floor is yours.
Glendale Park is a neighborhood in my district with a very rich history. As a result of a recent contentious subdivision in late 2015, which led to, among other things, the demolition of a zookeeper's cottage, which was very, very old and treasured by the neighborhood. Despite our efforts to save that zookeeper's cottage, it was demolished, and that led to an effort by neighbors in that neighborhood to apply contextual overlay to areas of the neighborhood designed to preserve the character and create areas of sensitive development. We knew there would not be consensus, so we set out on an effort to very detailed, time-consuming effort led by and driven by neighbors designed to reach every homeowner, and numerous mailings, numerous community meetings, and we surgically looked at all the areas of this overlay. And two members of the who really spearheaded this, Ronna Rubin and Ginger Byrne, deserve an awful lot of credit for all the work they've done on this overlay. And they've concluded their efforts by sitting through this entire meeting, so they're out there now, and I wanted to give them a shout out. And so I just wanted to let y'all know all the history behind this overlay, and I would ask for your approval.
This motion to approve is properly seconded. Councilman Mendez.
Just very briefly, I used to live in this area, and Rana was my neighbor from across the street. I want to say hi to Rana. I support this also. Thank you.
The motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 2017-671, Councilman Anthony Davis, Councilman Withers, changes 0.84 acres from SP to R6 zoning for properties located at 2305, 2309, 2313, 2317, and 2321 Pennington Avenue. Councilman Anthony Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Davis.
With that, I'll move approval. Thank you.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 2017-672, Councilman Sledge, changes 2.88 acres from R8 to R6A zoning for various properties located along Summit Avenue. Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Move approval.
The motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-673, Councilman Scott Davis, changes 0.4 acres from RS5 to RM20 zoning for property located at Sharp Avenue, unnumbered, west of Ellington Parkway. Councilman Scott Davis.
Do we do the footage before or after committee reports?
Excuse me?
Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 13 in favor, 0 against, 1 not voting.
Councilman Davis.
I'd like to move for approval.
This motion to approve is properly seconded. This is a disapproved bill. Madam Clerk, we'll need to go to the machines. Is that it, Madam Clerk?
One more. I'm trying to stare him down right now.
Councilman Anthony Davis. Madam Clerk, if you'll close the machine and tally the vote.
I have 26 for, 0 against, 4 abstentions.
Motion fails. Bill 2017-674, Councilor Mina Johnson, changes 123.01 acres from R20 to RM4 and RM4 to SP zoning for property located at Old Hickory Boulevard unnumbered south of Ridge Lake Park to permit residential uses and include environmentally sensitive design standards within the SP. We can take 675 together. Bill 2017-675, Councilor Mina Johnson cancels a portion of a planned unit development for 123.01 acres for property located at Old Hickory Boulevard, unnumbered, south of Ridge Lake Park. Councilor Mina Johnson.
Vice Mayor, committee report, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended 2017-674 and 675. 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilor Johnson.
I'd like to move approval with really brief explanation.
Floor is yours.
Thank you. I just want to thank you, our staff, Brandon. He did work really hard to get in touch with the property owner because canceling part and try to have SP without a development plan is rather hard. And this case is the cancellation of SP with regulatory SP. So if and when a property owner want to develop in this very difficult, sensitive area, we used our imagination and have put a restriction. And planning staff and our own Brendan worked really hard. I just want to make a point and thank them. And for that, I would like to renew my motion to approve it.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-676. Councilman Pulley changes 0.3 acres from OR 20 to SCR zoning for property located at 2101 Crestmore Drive. Councilman Pulley. I'm sorry, Councilman. There you go.
Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval. 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Pulley.
With that, I move approval.
This motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-677, Councilman Sledge amends 1.83 acres of the specific plan for properties located at 1440 and 1500 12th Avenue South and Wedgewood Avenue unnumbered, northeast of Wedgewood Avenue and 12th Avenue South to increase units from a maximum of 150 to a maximum of 175 residential units. Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval. 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-678, Councilman Scott Davis. Changes 6.75 acres from CN and RS to MULA zoning for various properties along McFerrin Avenue, Seymour Avenue, West Eastland Avenue, and Cleveland Street. Councilman Scott Davis.
Committee reports, please.
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval of the bill as substituted. 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Davis.
Apologize. I need to move the substitute, Vice Mayor.
This motion is substitute. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Your own bill is substituted.
Move for approval, please.
It's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-679, Withers and Hurt applies the Neighborhood Landmark Overlay District to 0.79 acres for a portion of property located at 901 Delbrook Avenue. Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Could I get the committee reports, please?
Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval. 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval with a very brief comment.
Floor is yours.
Just like to thank all of the neighbors and the property owner, the church that's been there for a long time, for working together for a long time to come up with a plan that we think everyone can finally agree on. It has been a lengthy process, and just want to thank everyone for their efforts at that. This is a neighborhood landmark. The next step will be a planning commission hearing at a date to be scheduled soon, and encourage everyone to stay engaged as we finalize those details. I'd also like to thank Council Lady Sharon Hurt for co-signing on the bill. It's always exciting when our at-large and our district council members get to work together on something, and I really appreciate your support on that. So,
motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-6. Were you seeking recognition on that one, Councilman? Sir?
I'd ask, if I can, to rescind the vote on BL 2017-678 and re-vote on that, please.
That's not typical, so I'm going to make sure we're ruling correctly on that. That motion is out of order. You're only allowed to rescind an affirmative vote. A failed vote cannot be rescinded. BL 2017-680. Councilman Leonardo, Council Lady Hurt applies an urban design overlay district to 125.56 acres for various properties located along Clarksville Pike, Buena Vista Pike, Dry Fork Road, and Lloyd Road. Councilman Leonardo.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Leonardo.
Move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-681, Councilman Sledge. Cancels 0.17 acres of a planned unit development overlay district for property located at 622 Southgate Avenue. Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
I move for approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-682, Councilman Withers and Scott Davis. Changes 5.32 acres from MUGA R6 and RS5 to SPMU zoning for property located at 1101 and 1108 Gallatin Avenue, 1105, 1107, 1109, 1111 Sharp Avenue, and Sharp Avenue unnumbered 1048 and 1050 West Greenwood Avenue, and 1110 Greenwood Avenue to permit a mixed-use development. Councilman Withers.
thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Could I get the committee reports,
Councilor
please?
Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I would like to request a one-meeting deferral at the request of the applicant.
There's a motion to defer one meeting. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-683, Council Lady Blaylock, Councilman Swope. Changes 0.10 acres from R10 to CS zoning for property located at 5510 Nolensville Pike. Council Lady Blaylock.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended indefinite deferral at the request of the sponsor.
Council Lady.
Please have an indefinite deferral.
Motion to defer indefinitely is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-684, Council Lady Henderson, Councilman Withers, amends the Metro Code regarding the dedication of right-of-way and minimum lot size. Council Lady Henderson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 14 in favor, 0 against.
Council Lady Henderson.
I would move approval, please.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-689, Councilman Pulley, Elrod, and Allen approves a lease agreement between the Davidson County Clerk's Office and Grace's Plaza Limited for lease of space at 4009 Hillsborough Pike. Councilman Pulley.
All committee report, I move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-690, Rosenberg, Vercher, and Allen approves an agreement between Metro and the Bellevue Redevelopment Associates, LP, concerning the exchange of certain parcels of real property in connection with the construction of a new community center and hockey facility in Bellevue. Councilman Rosenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the bill to replace Nashville's oldest community center and build the West Nashville Ice Center. I move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-692, Councilman Elrod and Allen, abandons an easement, rights of any easement, rights of way, abandons any easement rights for property located at 5212 Louisiana Avenue. Councilman Elrod.
Committee reports in. Move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 2017-693. Councilman Withers, Elrod, and Allen authorizes Metro to accept permanent and temporary easements for the Barclay Drive Stormwater Improvement Project for properties located at 2819 and 2821 Barclay Drive. Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. With all committee reports in, I would like to move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 2017-694, Withers, Elrod, and Allen abandons an unnumbered alley right-of-way and easement. Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. With all committee reports in, I would like to move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 2017-695, Elrod and Allen abandons a portion of alley number 2004 right-of-way and easement. Councilman Elrod.
Move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 2017-696, O'Connell, Allen, and Elrod abandons a portion of DeMumberton Street, 5th Avenue South, 6th Avenue South, and Korean Veterans Boulevard right-of-way. Councilman O'Connell.
I'm his much larger brother.
I'm sorry, Councilman Elrod.
Move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-697, O'Connell, Elrod, and Allen abandons Lanham Avenue and a portion of alley number 2062 right-of-way. Councilman Elrod.
Move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-698, Murphy, Elrod, and Allen abandons an unimproved portion of alley number 1705 right-of-way. Council Lady Murphy.
All committee reports are in, and I'd like to move for approval. And I'd like to thank my fellow council members for their help tonight.
There's no help for you. Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Motion carries. BL 2017-699, Councilman Swope changes the name of a portion of Sterling Oaks Drive to Montessori Drive. Councilman Swope.
With all committee reports in and the Ducks leading 1-0 at the beginning of the third period, I move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. For those of you still paying attention, I think we will be back here soon to meet again, but we will be without one of our current members. So although he is moving on to bigger and better things, I hope he knows that he will be missed. So let's give a final round of applause to Councilman Coleman. With that, is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. I'm going to put it in my office.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.